Good morning, YouTube. It's Saturday morning. It's December 7th. It's freezing cold outside. There's a little bit of snow falling down. I'm home alone with my son, and I thought, what better than do a little bit of baking in the kitchen? We're going to make some sugar cookies today. Everybody loves sugar cookies. I want to do a little twist on it, though. I bought some Christmas sprinkles at the grocery store and a little bit of some food coloring. And I thought we'd kind of just make it a little bit more fun for the kids. I find a lot of times colors and textures are very important to actually get him to eat stuff. Not that we're necessarily trying to force sugar on him, but anyways, we're going to go through it here. We're going to do a basic sugar cookie recipe. I'm going to divide the batter in half, add food coloring to one to make it blue. We're going to spiral it together, and then we're going to wrap it with our Christmas sprinkles, and we'll do our sliced cookies. My son was here. I think he's going to come back and participate, I hope. But anyway, it's Saturday morning fun. So let's jump right into it, and I'm going to take you through the details. Here we go. So, we've got 3 cups of flour. This is just a basic sugar cookie recipe, okay? 3 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of white sugar. I've got 1 cup of butter. I've got 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of salt, 2 eggs, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So pretty simple recipe. I've got the oven set right now at 350 degrees, and the concept behind this is creaming, okay? I don't know how much baking experience you have, but it's pretty simple stuff. Add your eggs and your butter to your sugar, and you're going to cream it all together. Add your dry ingredients to your flour. Once the 2 bowls have everything mixed into it, you mix the both together, and you're done. So it's pretty simple. I'm going to cream it together, and I'll come back to show you what it looks like. Sugar, we'll get the flour out of the road. I'm going to take my sugar, I'm going to add my 2 eggs to it. Pretty simple stuff. Number 1, let me just get somewhere to put the eggshells. Hayden, are you going to participate, or are you going to take off on us? Yeah, he says I got Tubi and Binu or Bubble Guppies on the TV, so I'm out. Add the eggs, okay? Pretty simple stuff. I'm just going to mix them in, make sure the eggs, the yolks are broken. So right away you can see it turns all the sugar into almost a liquid, just like that. Boom. Okay? Pretty simple stuff. Take my butter, same thing. It's softened butter, okay? You do not want to try to do this with something that you just took out of the fridge. It's going to be an absolute nightmare for you. There's no reason that you can't cheat. Take something out of the fridge, put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. Just make sure that it doesn't, you don't want it to melt. You know, there's a difference. Sometimes when you bake cookies, okay, say your wife or your mother or whoever bakes some chocolate chip cookies, and you see on the bottom layer of those cookies there's this really thin brown crust, and it's very crunchy. That's because they used melted butter, and when it settles on your pan, the melted butter will actually separate and go down to the bottom of the cookie, and it burns along the bottom. Whereas when you use the melted butter, it's more incorporated, and it'll actually cook through the cookie better. So there's a little tip for you there. Okay, sugar, butter, and eggs. There's my wet ingredients, okay? I got 2 teaspoons of vanilla I want to add to this as well. Remember, teaspoons and tablespoons are different. Do not mix them up. Vanilla 1, vanilla 2. The vanilla is just going to add a little extra sweetness. Not that the sugar we put in there isn't going to do it on its own. And then we're just going to mix it around. Pretty straight up stuff, okay? So that's our creamed mixture. Done. Right there. Let's go dry mixture. Flour. Okay, we want teaspoon, not tablespoon. Baking powder. Boom. Simple. We're going to do a half a teaspoon of salt. Half a teaspoon of salt. I will write the recipe. Be careful when you're doing the salt. Last thing you want to do is add too much. I will write the recipe for this in the description thing below, so if you're not following along and you want to just check that out after, you can. That's pretty simple right there. Now you want to mix this up ahead of time, okay? Mix your flour, your salt, mix it all in, your baking powder before you cream it in the other mixture, because you don't want to have that just clumped in one section. What's up, my dude? Come here, you want to participate? Yeah, buddy! You gonna help? No? Okay, so we got them together, and I'm going to come back in 2 seconds. Next step, pretty simple stuff. Go to a bigger bowl if you use 2 small ones to start with like I did. Flour mixture, check. Creamed mixture, This is the easiest recipe to do, but it's a lot of fun, especially for the kids when they want to stay and participate. And now all we're going to do is we're just going to mix this until it's fully incorporated and it turns into a nice smooth surface. So it's going to take me a couple minutes of mixing. I'll come right back. You can see it's starting to incorporate there, and it's starting to turn into a cookie dough. Okay, so as you can see, I've now turned it into a dough. You got to add a little bit of water sometimes. Like if it's not coming together properly, just sprinkle a little bit of water on it. Hayden, what's your deal, dude? Do you want to participate in the movie or not? Oh! The little dude here. Hello? Are we making cookies? Cookies? This is what it's all about, folks. It's all about kids. And he's going to love this. Even though he doesn't want to participate in the hard part, which is making it, he's going to love it when they're done, aren't you? Okay, let's go back. Okay, next thing we're going to want to do, and I'm going to use my hands kind of guy, we're just going to take it, and you want to separate it. Okay, 2 halves. You're going to try to make them as equal as you can. So in one bowl, we're going to have our regular white section of the cookie, okay, straight up. In the next bowl, we're going to have our food coloring stuff. So I want to spread it out a little bit. You can use as much food coloring as you want. The tricky part of this is food coloring is not super fun to have on your hands, and I don't have any gloves, so I'm just going to make do with some sandwich bags. They'll do the trick, and they'll keep your hands clean from the blue. So I'm just going to add, you know, enough to make it blue. Like, this isn't rocket science here. This is cookie making. So you just want to put enough food coloring in. And again, ideally gloves would be fun, or the way to go here, but we make do with what we have to. And then I'm just going to incorporate it all together. So give me a few minutes and I'll come back when it's done. So there you go, blue and the regular color, the white one. So this here took a little bit of mixing. I did have to use my hands a little bit. The gloves didn't really necessarily work out, but it is what it is. You've got the blue color, you've got the white color. So now our next step is going to be to flour out this surface. We're going to roll out the 2 sheets, and then the idea is put down this sheet, and then roll it up. So I'll come back once I get it floured and rolled out. Okay, as you can see, I've rolled out the first one. I don't think I need to show you that. Flour, dough, roll it, add a little bit of flour to the top so it doesn't stick. Very, very simple stuff, so I didn't bother to put that in. And then it shouldn't stick. I mean, it might stick a little tiny bit, but nothing crazy. So that's the first one. And now all I'm going to do is the same procedure with the blue one, and I'll come back. As you can see, I've got the blue one rolled out, and I've got our white one rolled out. You want them to be relatively the same thickness, which we've got going on here, and relatively the same size. The outside one can be a little bit bigger than the inside one. And now we're going to put the 2 together. So there's different ways to go about this. I'm going to treat it like a pie crust, okay? I know I can't get the whole shot in on the video here, but I'm going to fold my cookie in half. The one with the no food coloring is the more brittle of the 2. Okay, fold it in half so that I can pick it up. Ooh, this is the hardest part of the whole cookie recipe, okay? Pick it up as quick as you can, get it on top, okay? Again, this is the hardest part. Oh, she's breaking a little bit on me here. Just remember too, this is going to be hidden inside, so it doesn't have to be perfectly pretty, but you do want it to be halfway good looking, not look all haggard. Not that the kids are going to care anyway. All they care is that they're getting some cookies. There we go. So, we've got our one color on the inside, one color on the outside. It's a little bit haggard. I'm going to come back after I get, well, I can probably get a better shot right here. So I got them in between. Now, you don't have to patch it all up and make it look pretty. I mean, this is going to get rolled. I think that that's just fine like that. I could have done a better job flipping it in, but it is what it is. Okay, now the concept behind this is that we're going to roll it. So just give me 2 seconds and I'll come back. Okay, here we go. So now this is going to be the same concept as cinnamon biscuits. I'm sure everybody's made cinnamon biscuits before. All we're going to do is we're just going to roll it. Okay, so once you get your lip started, it's going to be pretty easy. There we go. And I'm just going to roll along. Same concept as cinnamon buns. Rolling it up. You don't want to tear it. You want the nice blue color on the outside. Rolling it up, look at that. And that right there is perfect. Let me get a knife. Perfect. Okay, let's adjust the camera so you get a better shot of her. That is your cookie roll, the start of it. And all we're gonna do, just like cinnamon biscuits, I'm gonna cut off one end. And I'm gonna cut off the other end. And let's give you a shot right here so that you can see. That's what we're looking for right there, okay? Give me a minute and I'll come back. Okay, now it's the fun part. So as you can see, I've got a layer of saran wrap on the bottom. As with all, here, I'm gonna move the camera a little bit. As with all sugar cookies, you're gonna need to put this in the freezer or the fridge. I'm gonna go fridge for an hour, so we need to wrap it up nice and tight. But first, we gotta make it Christmassy, right? So I've got my Christmas sprinkles. If you let it sit for a minute too, after you're rolling it, it'll stiffen and it makes it easier to work with. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna put our sprinkles in here and we're gonna try to get them to stay. Now as I wrap it up and I squeeze it in, it's gonna work better for me, right? So I pour my sprinkles in, and then when I roll it, I'm gonna squish my sprinkles all into it. So I'll come back once I get that done. I had a little bit of trouble getting the sprinkles to stick. So the secret to everything, butter, okay? Let's take some butter. Let's give it just a light brush. We're not trying to saturate anything. The cookies already have butter in them anyway. And in other recipes that I've done, you put butter on something and it sticks. So let's try that now, and hopefully this is going to work out better for us. There you go. Everything's trial and error, right? I mean, I haven't really done the Christmas sprinkle cookies at all, so this is a first for me, but that goes to show you right there. You know, a little bit of this and that goes a long way. Butter it all out to a nice happy place so that we can get them all to stick. And she's going to look right Christmassy. I'll come back as soon as I have it done. So I got her done. As you can see, I made a colossal mess with the sprinkles, but I got saran wrap underneath it. And again, the concept is that we're going to wrap it nice and tight, right? So wrap the saran wrap over once, push it down, and then I'm going to just roll it up. You want it all to stay nice and packed inside. Take your end. You can twist it. You can do whatever the heck you want to it. Loop it over the top. Same with this end here. Loop it over the top. Now I'm actually going to do one more layer just to tighten it up. Second wrap. You can see it looks really, really, really good. Like, obviously we had a little bit of trial and error with the sprinkle part, but that looks very Christmassy, very sharp. So all I'm going to do is same thing I did the first time. This time I'm just going to do it a little bit tighter. Okay. There it is. Perfect. That is our Christmas tree sugar cookie log. So I'm just going to put this in the fridge for an hour, and then we'll come back. And you can also squeeze it out a little bit too. Like if you want to, if it's not even when you had it rolled out on the ground, you can give it a little squeeze like this. It's going to firm it all up on the inside and make sure that all your layers are nice and packed together. I'm going to put this in the fridge for an hour. Okay, and we'll come back. Our 1 hour time frame has passed, so now it's on to our next step. This has been refrigerated. We're good to go. You need some Pam spray. Nothing real complicated. Give her a spray so they don't stick. Boom, done. Now we're going to unwrap them. You still got to be gentle. I mean, they've been in the fridge for a bit and it has stiffened up, but you still do need to be gentle. And I'm sure we're going to make a mess with these sprinkles everywhere. So we'll just unwrap the saran wrap, like so. I'm going to take one out so that we're not fighting with it. And I've already got sprinkles coming out. I tell you, that's where the big mess is, man, is the sprinkles. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to unroll it, and it's the same concept, like I said, as a cinnamon biscuit. Let's just get it unrolled here. There you go. Okay? So all I want to do is I want to cut cookies. Now I'm going to take the first one right off. Look at that. This is what I mean about you had to squish it a little bit just to give it the right to smash it all together so you don't have any lines in the middle where there's gaps. But look at that. These are going to be so good. You get quite a few cookies out of this recipe. I've got the oven going at 350 degrees behind me. Don't cut them too thick, okay? And leave some space in between them so that they can expand as they cooked. Look at that. I think they look wonderful. The kids are going to absolutely love them. You know, It's just a fun little holiday cookie to make, especially on a nice Saturday morning. So I'll come back once these are all baked out for you. But you can see, plain as day, pretty neat little rig. So as soon as they're baked, I'll give you a pretty good shot of them. We got 2 trays ready to go in the oven, and here we go. Okay, so we've got them in the oven. I just put them in. We're going to put them in there at 350 degrees for 8 minutes. And there you have it, folks. Sugar cookies. It's got the spiral inside. It's got all of our little Christmas sprinkles on the outside. I think the kids are going to love it. Let it cool for a little bit and rock and roll. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.